guys, here's a sneak peek of our cake.
Hello and welcome to Delectable Flavors. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to decorate a simple but elegant looking carrot cake. Now let's get started. The first thing you'll need to do is get your carrot cake in a pan and simple syrup it. I've left a link in the description box on how you can make this carrot cake. I've also left a link in the description box on my lemon simple syrup recipe, but if you're not a fan of lemon, I've also left one of my regular simple syrup, but I'll be using lemon simple syrup for this cake today. So all I'm going to do is drizzle some on, and then using my brush, I will brush it so it's evenly coating the whole cake. I'm going to repeat this step for all of my cake layers and put this in the fridge for 15 minutes, or you can put it in the freezer for about 5 to 10 minutes. I've just taken my first carrot cake layer out of the fridge, and this has been soaked with the lemon simple syrup. Now the frosting I'm going to use for this cake is my cream cheese frosting, and I've left a link in the description box on how you can make that. So the first step is to get a dollop of icing and spread it at the center of your cake board. Make sure to scrape off any extra icing. And now what I'm going to do is get my cake layer and put it right in the center. That looks really good, so I'm now going to apply my icing using a spatula. If you've seen my other videos, you might have noticed that in my chocolate cake decorating for the drip cake, I used a piping bag, but you can also use a spatula. Both methods work. So I'm now going to add my second cake layer. Just going to make sure it's all centered. And I'm now going to apply another layer of icing. It's looking pretty even, so it's now time for my last cake layer. So I'm now going to add my final cake layer, and this time I'm going to add it flat side up so I can get a smooth finish on the top of my cake. Going to measure if it's all even. It's looking very centered, and I'm now going to apply my top layer of icing. So first I'm going to spoon it on with my spatula and then spread it using my offset spatula. So now what I'm going to do is apply a generous amount of icing on the sides with this spatula and then spread it using my straight spatula. And now I'm just going to keep spinning until I have a desired smoothness. If I see any gaps or air bubbles, I'm just going to get more icing and apply it on. I just want to get the bottom to have a nice finish before I add more icing. Now I'm just going to check. I see a little emptiness there, so I'm going to add a little bit of icing. Not too much. I'm going to see if there's any other spots that need some icing. And that's good. Now I'm going to give it a nice spread. trying to get a nice even layer before I put this in the freezer, as it'll be easier to do my second layer with a nice smooth finish. It's not a big deal if you see any of your cake, because this is a crumb coat and we'll be adding more icing on top later. Now what I'm going to do is pull the top part into the middle. I'm going to keep going until I have a desired smoothness at the top. I think I'll use my offset spatula, just move it out a bit. I'm going to add a little bit more icing where I see air pockets. As far as a crumb coat goes, this is looking really nice, and I'm going to put it in the fridge to chill. Now that my cake has been chilled, I'm going to apply more icing to cover and give it a nice finish. So now what I'm going to do using a wooden dowel is make indents to make a quilt diamond design on the edge of our beautiful cake. And I'm just using my cake fresh from the fridge. And I'm pushing just a little bit so I can make this beautiful indent. And now I'm going to continue that all around the cake. And I'm going to pull gently so that I don't make too big of an indent and try to smudge my cake. I really want this to look fine and elegant. An inch of a difference between my lines, an inch to 3/4 of an inch. I've made 4 indents so far, and after doing 4, I've noticed that there's a lot of icing left on my dowel, so I'm just going to take it off using the help of a paper towel. And now I'm just putting that aside. Don't throw it out because you'll need it. And now I'm going to continue indenting my cake. So now what I'm going to do to create my beautiful diamond design is get my dowel and make indents on the opposite side. Now the thing you can do with this is skip as many number of lines as you like. For example, if you do 1 skip, then you'll get 1 diamond. Basically what I mean is the more you skip in the first indent, the more diamonds you'll get. So what I'm going to do to make it not super complicated but not super simple is skip 3 lines in the starting, and then I'm just going to do 1 by 1s following that. So here what I'm going to do is skip 3 gaps. I'm going to start right here because that's where a point where I can visualize and understand where I started. Here I see 1 square, here I see 2 squares, and here I see 3 squares. That means I'm going to start here and end over there, and I'm going to make my indent. And now I have this cross design. Just gonna indent the top so you can see it. There. Now you can see how I have it starting here and across there. And now for my next indent, all I'm going to do is go from the next one to the next one because my 3 pattern has already occurred. And now you can see that I have a lovely set of diamonds over there as well. Now I'm going to continue on. So I just got my tweezer and I'm going to pick up the sprinkles and put them on 1 by 1 on the diamonds in the middle portion. Don't worry too much about the diamonds at the bottom, as our beautiful icing will cover that after. And I'm going to basically push it in using a skewer. But if you do not have a tweezer on hand, you can just get a bowl of water and dip your finger in it lightly, and then the sprinkles will stick to your finger, and then you can just dab it onto your cake. And then make sure when you finish doing this that you put this in your fridge to cool again. So to show you how you can do it with your hands is just to get a bit of water. There are some water on my fingers, and now I'm just going to find a spot to put it on. And now using my skewer or my hand, I don't want to use my hand too much because I don't want to melt the color off. I'm just going to push in my sprinkle. And now I'm going to continue that with the rest of my sprinkles. That looks good. And now I have 3 layers of sprinkles. I did one purple, white, and blue. Well, it's actually a pearl white. And now I'm going to put this in the fridge to cool for about half an hour, or you can put it in the freezer to cool for approximately 5 to 10 minutes. So now that my cake has been chilled, I chilled it overnight, but it is totally fine to keep it in the fridge for approximately 30 minutes to an hour, or to keep it in the refrigerator for 10 minutes, as all you need is the cake to firm up. So now what I'm going to do is pipe an elegant shell border, and what I'm going to be using is a 2D Wilton piping tip. You can also use a 1M. And now what I'm going to do is basically pipe a wave motion. I'm going to pipe and then pull and then pipe and then pull. So just to show you, I'm just going to get some blue icing. I'm going to pipe a shell and push it back out. And that's one shell. And now I'm going to pipe up and back down. And that's 2 shells. Now what I'm going to do is pipe some reverse swirls. What I'm going to do is to pipe an S, and then I'm going to flip the direction I swirl in each and every single time. So the Delectable Flavours crew has just finished making these beautiful flowers, and I'm now going to put them on our beautiful cake. And we made these using a turntable. You have a flower nail that works as well. And I'm just going to pick it up using my flower scissors, and I'm going to find the perfect spot to put it onto my cake, like so. And now I'm going to push it a little bit in place. And that's good. Now I just need to clean off my flower scissor cutter. I'll put the big rose right next to it. I just need to be very careful with that. So when you have these flowers, you have to keep them in the refrigerator for at least 10 to 15 minutes for them to firm and set up. And then they should just peel off the parchment paper easily. But as you could see, I did struggle with the pink one a little bit because it's hard to balance them on. And I'm just going to bring it a little closer. I think that's a good spot. And I'm going to try to push it gently. There, look at that. Our beautiful, beautiful roses are done. And we have a yellow and a pink. And now I'm going to get my beautiful leaf tip and pipe some leaves right next to it. So if you see any scuffs or marks you don't really want, just cover it using a leaf tip. It looks like a beautiful leaf at the end. I'm just going to make 2 leaves here. Give my yellow some leaves as well. Don't want to make it too long. That's good. Now if you want to add sprinkles upon your cake, you can totally do that, and I've left a link in the description box on how you can make some sprinkles. And I'm using a Ziploc bag here just so I can show you how to pipe these designs on if you don't have a pastry bag. If you have a silicone Ziploc bag, you can also use that. And our roses are now done, and if you have a special message to write on your cake, you still have some room here to do so. So here is the end result of our beautiful cake, and I'm just going to show you a full view of the whole entire cake. I'm just going to rotate it so you can see every angle. And if you did like this recipe, please give it a big thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel for a new recipe every week. Till the next recipe, bye bye!